And you introduced us to the Hinduism versus Hindutva debate, which supposedly are two different things according to these scholars. And if I have to quote one of the speakers from the conference, and she said, I emphasize without hesitation that Hindutva is inseparable from Hinduism, and arguments that Hindutva is not Hinduism are deeply dangerous and will not lead us to the future we want. Now, this seems to be a huge contradiction in what they actually claim. Now, they say that both are the same things, which means that the fight is not against the so-called Hindutva ideology. The fight is against Hindus.
Well, they capture under their rubric of what they call supremacism, all kinds of ordinary activities that anybody who even goes to a yoga studio is going to be participating in. So we're not just talking about your, devout religious communities. We're talking about anybody who participates in any aspect at all of Sanatana Dharma.
Right. So they're targeting everyone is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize that quite yet, but this is not a new narrative. This has been going on for decades. If you go through the academic materials online, and it just hasn't been refuted or repudiated because people aren't paying attention. And this was a real wake-up call when I raised this issue of the white paper with the New Zealand community. They had no idea this was going on. And now Hindus feel unsafe in New Zealand. They're feeling stigmatized. They're feeling people are prejudiced against them. And it's just not, it's not Australian values, it's not New Zealand values. We should be allowed to express our culture and our religion and our faith without any fear of bias or prejudice.
What's happening in New Zealand? Because in India, we have a section of people who sort of fangirl over Jacinda Ardern, so, and the kind of feminism she emulates and the leadership that she represents. So what is actually happening in Australia and New Zealand? Because the reports that are coming right now is from America and Europe, and that is what our limitation, our understanding is up to. So could you tell us more about the crimes against Hindus in those regions?
From my studies, we see that there's, there's quite strong strictures and criteria around what people call hate crime, for example. So you can't really use hate crime, which is, acts against persons and temples, to repudiate that there is bias and prejudice, because it appears in the media, it appears in academia, it appears in films on television, it appears in everyday comments on social media. There's plenty of Hinduphobia going on, and my survey shows that Hindus are feeling afraid, and they feel like there's no option for them to actually make reports or, bring awareness, because there's a very a broad lack of awareness about what Hinduphobia actually is. It's not just people bashing you or spitting on you on the streets. It's a whole psyche that's being aroused among the community. And I think Jacinda Ardern and our Prime Minister Scott Morrison, and I think, Narendra Modi ji, I think they would be highly, highly concerned about what this will lead to on the ground, because we've seen what happened after 9/11 in America, when anybody who looked like a person of color was stigmatized as a terrorist. And that's exactly what they're doing. It's going to affect everybody. It will capture people from Japan all the way across Southeast Asia, people from India, anybody who practices yoga. It's a broad net, and the people who are saying these things will be captured inside that net themselves. So it's really self-sacrificial.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.